guys, how's it going? My name is Jason. I have had this 5th gen 4Runner here for 5 years now. It is about to hit 140 probably here pretty soon. It's at 139, but I've owned it since about 60 something thousand miles. So I kind of wanted to give you like a 5-year update on the 4Runner, how I've liked it as a platform, would I recommend it, and yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so like I said, this is my 5th gen 4Runner here. This is a trail edition, but it does have the TRD off-road badge as well as the TRD Pro grill up there. So I have done some upgrades, and I think that is pretty obvious that I have. It does not come with this stuff on its stock, but as a stock vehicle, I did not have it stock very long. So in the 5 years that I have owned this, it has had a few issues, but every single one of them that I've had can be traced back to a modification that I have done. So this isn't a condemnation of modifying your vehicle, quite the contrary. I love modifying my vehicle. I love how it looks, how it handles. However, you know, just make sure that you're doing it with a professional. So I bought this from someone from Texas. It was originally a Texas vehicle. Luckily it was 4-wheel drive, because a lot of the Texas guys for some reason buy the 2-wheel drive stuff. But I've been very happy with it so far. As a vehicle, if it was in its stock form, it handles great as a daily driver. You know, the miles per gallon aren't the best, but if it was in its stock form, it would do certainly a lot better. I've put 34s on it. I have Nitto ridge grapplers on here, a set of 34s, and obviously those are going to make the miles per gallon go down a little bit. It wasn't too bad. I still probably get like, you know, 15 or 16 or so, even with that. Yeah, obviously in its stock form it'll do a little bit better. On here I have put on a couple different lifts on here. Each one of them has had its different, you know, capabilities, but right now I have Bilsteins on there with SPC upper control arms, Nitto ridge grapplers, and these are SSW, I believe those are called strikers. At one point in time I did have the TRD wheels on those with some BFGs. That was probably the best miles per gallon I ever got. You know, if you just want a little bit bigger tires, certainly 285 7017, 275 7017 on some TRD wheels is probably perfectly fine. Over here I have some rock sliders. Those really haven't affected the performance of the vehicle at all. It's just a nice step since it does have a 3-inch lift. In the back I have Bilsteins and bump stops back here to keep the larger tire from hitting up here. It hasn't since I've done that, and I believe before that it didn't even hit up there, although on the front the bump stops definitely help a lot more. So like I said before, the TRD Off-Road or Trail Edition does have some slightly different things in here. So with the TRD Off-Road or Trail, you get the crawl control, the hill ascent assist over here. So you also do get a locker and A-track over here, although I believe even the stock SR5 in 4-wheel drive gets the A-track. But this one does have a locking rear differential. And you also get on this one the manual you know, knob here, whereas on the SR5 you just get a little dial. This is kind of nice to have. So as far as wiring goes, I've done some minor upgrades. I basically put in this aux beam, which also inside the engine bay has some fuses. It really cleans everything up. This is really the only wiring that I've done different with the lights. This is basically integrated in here with a panel. Very cool upgrade, but very much not stock. All right, so on the back here I have a ladder. This is from a company called C4. I've had a little bit of issues with this. It's not been too bad. It is a pretty solid ladder, great for getting up on the roof. I got it when I had a GFC, but I really no longer need it, but it's up there nonetheless. Over here, the Sherpa rack, I've certainly not had this a super long time, but the last couple months I've had it, it's been really great. I have added this Molly panel on here. It doesn't rattle or anything like that. So like I said, up top I have the Sherpa roof rack. This has been really great. It is a solid roof rack Really great for rooftop tents when I had them, or, you know, storage if you're going to be doing storage on here. I have a video on this if you guys want to check it out. It will be up either soon or it is already up at this point. If it is, I'll put a link up here. I also have the Diode Dynamics lights over here, as well as the fog lights, the middle light here. This is the, I think, 40-inch light bar here. And then I also have the GTR lighting headlights. These have been really great. Love these a lot. So as a daily driver, I have put, you know, quite a bit of miles on it. Highway, off-road, you know, dirt track, towing stuff behind it. So I've had a lot of experience with different types of driving with this, and each one of them has performed great. This does have a 5,000 pound towing capacity, so it is going to work great for probably what most people would tow. However, I do personally need a little bit more, and that is kind of one of my complaints about the 4Runner. A nice V8 would really, really help out. So really the only major additional weight is going to be the bumper here. We're going to have the tires, which are going to weigh a lot more than stock. This is going to weigh some. It's obviously not going to be a ton, but also in the rear here, we're going to have a drawer system. Now this is probably going to cause a little bit of extra weight just because they are loaded down completely. So this was not the 3-row version. This is the 2-seater. So originally this was back here just a flat surface, so adding this was super easy. It is bolted into the actual body here, and it works super great. Doesn't rattle around or anything. Very well made, but yeah, it certainly does add a little bit of extra weight. And when coupled with the tires and all that, you know, it certainly will affect the miles per gallon. Some of the things I really like about the 4Runner is the amount of space. Now, I have added a drawer back here, which limits the space a little bit, but since I can store all my stuff in there, it is really great. The ability to mount panels, stuff like that. You can mount all kinds of stuff. So there's tons of space in here. In the back seat. You can lay this flat. Normally I will drive with the seats flat. That way I can put my dog kennel back here and some other stuff. But even with the seats up, you have plenty of space back here. You know, I have stuff mounted up on the rests here, and I used to have a thing that went across here. You can mount stuff. In the front seat, you have a ton of space up here as well. And I've even mounted a molly panel down here, so I can mount like knives and stuff like that. It is empty right now, but you can even mount a remote hole punch over there. But yeah, a really big vehicle inside, and tons of places to put stuff, tons of storage in here. Definitely one of the reasons I went with the 4Runner in the first place. So Toyota is definitely known for its reliability. One of the reasons why I went with Toyota in the first place. The 4.0 liter V6 is the engine on this one. Definitely isn't the 2UZ FE, you know, that you see on the Land Cruisers, the GXs, the million-mile engines. I've seen plenty of 5th gen 4Runners with 300, 400,000 miles on them already, and with 140,000 miles on it, it's easily got double that, if not more, with proper maintenance. I've hit all the intervals on this one, and I've maintained this engine very well. People that I off-road with will tell you that I baby this thing, because even when heavy off-roading, I'll still take it slow just to get over an obstacle without damaging the vehicle. Obviously over here you can see where the aux beam wires in, and clean and professional wiring over here. And this also does have remote start, which I have added afterwards. That is one of the complaints I had about the 4Runner, is that it doesn't have remote start. Although I believe the new generation will have it, as well as a push button start. But I think even it's possible that the 2020s and newer have that on them. This is a simple modification and something I would recommend that you do even if you're not really into modifying your vehicle. Remote start is great, especially in the summer when it's super hot like it is now, or in the winter when it's like 10 degrees here and you want to preheat the vehicle. So like I said before, I really only have like 2 complaints about the 4Runner. One of them is very specific to me, and the other is very much a aesthetic thing, and also very, very specific to me. The first is, obviously I talked about it before, the towing capacity. I said this will work for most people, but for me, it's just sort of a little bit on the lower end. So with the mountains here in Colorado, that 5,000 pound towing capacity going up a hill, if you're towing around, 4,000, you are gonna feel it. My second complaint, this is very specific to me, but because I am a YouTuber, the silver was just the wrong choice, as it is basically like filming a mirror. But if YouTube was your job, I think you would understand, even photos and stuff like that. But for photos, it's fine. For YouTube, it's a little bit tougher to get the contrast of light and dark. But I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that one, but that is really the only two complaints I've had so far. So, as I mentioned before, I have had two things go wrong with this in 5 years. Both of those, as I said earlier, were due to modifications and not understanding how things worked on it. First thing that happened, the power steering hose that's up here on the front blew out when I got the 34s. I was off-roading and didn't realize that you should really be upgrading those hoses when you put such larger tires on it. You're putting a lot more strain on it. So yeah, that blew out. If you follow me over on Instagram, you've already seen that before. I haven't heard that happen to too many other people, but I just wanted to note that that happened to me. So if you do upgrade to 34s, I would look up possibly getting some reinforced hoses up there. If you follow me on Instagram, you have also seen that I did have a battery issue. I went and replaced the alternator thinking that something had gone wrong with the wiring or the battery of the alternator. It turns out it was an aftermarket thing that I had added. Ever since I removed it, it has never come back. I've never had any battery issues. I've never had anything like that. So it has a brand new alternator for no reason and a brand new battery for also no reason. But it's not a bad thing. Worst case scenario, it's it's not bad to change those things out. So it's not like I heard anything. It was just unnecessary maintenance. At the end of the day, the big question is, would I recommend the 4Runner? So for most people, if you're looking for something to off-road or even just a mall crawler or even just something that you can leave stock and drive the kids, have something that's capable in the snow, in the rain, anything like that, then absolutely I do recommend this. I've had this for about 5 years now and I've absolutely loved it. It's been my favorite vehicle that I've ever owned. However, this is where I'm going to announce that the 4Runner as it sits is for sale. So I have some stuff coming up in my life where I need a truck. Now I know it's kind of a running joke that everybody who gets a 4Runner ends up going to the Ram 2500, and that is not what I'm going to be doing. I am going to be building out a Tundra. I've already priced out how everything's going to be, how the build's going to be. Hopefully, after I do that, hopefully the goal is to build out something a little bit more nimble for trails. But just because of those circumstances, I figured the Tundra was the best bet for me and also for the channel. So I still do have a ton of friends with 4Runners, and there will still be a lot of 4Runner content on the channel. But realistically, the Tundra, possibly coupled with like a 3rd gen or something in the future of the 4Runner, is more likely the route that I will be going. Hit me up below. I'll let you know if it's still for sale. I will pin a comment if it's already sold. But that being said, guys, I appreciate you stopping by and checking this out. I will see you guys in the next video.